Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you very much for the wonderful session we had in the panel discussion. Now we are in the last leg of this wonderful event. So I would request our moderator, Mr. Manoj Nambiar, Managing Director of Aarohan Financial Services, to be on stage. Thank you, sir. I would request now our speakers to be on stage. Ms. Reema Mukherjee, Head of Digital Lending, Aarohan Financial Services Limited. Our next speaker is Mr. Saurav Bajpai, Deputy General Manager, SIDBI. Next is Mr. Neeraj Maheshwari, CEO and co-founder, AMFI Services Private Limited. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Rajesh Johnny, the co-founder and CEO of Branch X. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Mohammad Inamul Haq, COO, ASA International, Bangladesh. Thank you so much, sir. Now I would request our moderator to start the panel session. So I would request Mr. Abdul Awal to be on stage as a speaker.
Please come.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the patience and thank you for all that you've gone through to wait for the last but not the least session. And I'm told that the awards function follows this, so we'll try to keep it limited to about an hour, including questions. As you can see, we are fairly resourceful. The MC is turned a panelist now. So we hope to hear from her what we do at Aarohan on the digital side. And so if you look at the theme of the conference this year, it's primarily been about next generation of microfinance and what the digital journey essentially would necessitate and how we need to be prepared for that. And within that, this panel, what we are looking at is the opportunities and the challenges that one would face in the overall value chain, right from the sourcing, the origination, to the credit approval, to the credit administration, booking it on the system, collections, recoveries, and then ensure how we are able to retain. How technology can essentially play a very different part in the otherwise very mundane and manual process that we go through. I've got Mr. Haq here, who is the Chief Operating Officer of ASA International. You heard him speak in the morning. I'm sure he will add a lot of value about, again, how they are looking at digital and technology to help on the microfinance side. And I've got Neeraj here, who's from the insurance side, but he is today a CEO of a different company, and he'll tell us the opportunities that they see within the microfinance space. And of course, I've got Reema here, who heads digital lending for Aarohan, who will tell us the very niche product and service that we've launched, which essentially probably is the first in the industry in India, which is really setting the standards for how that transformation from manual to digital essentially can happen. But before I give my panelists a chance to talk, technology has been something that all of us have spoken about. I think it's today fashionable to talk about technology and digital. Now, is it a forced term that we are all are being made to adopt because of the investors asking for it, or the regulator asking for it, the customer asking for it, or is it because that we believe that this is the way to go forward? Turnaround time, which at one point of time used to be almost 3 to 4 weeks to get a loan, came down from 3 to 4 weeks to about 2 to 3 weeks. And today, digital is talking about giving a loan in just about an hour from the time that the customer applies for a loan. The cost, even today, for a microfinance loan, whichever company, whichever operation that you look at, would be varying between 23-24%, right? Which obviously is much higher than what all of us probably would be able to access from banks ourselves, right? Which probably would be about 12-14%. So why does our microfinance customer need to pay about 10% more, right? And how will technology bring that down? And last but not the least, the risks associated with technology, right? I'm told that today it might be surprising to a lot of you. The trend today in digital and sort of online lending essentially is frauds, online frauds, digital frauds, PIN, ATM, OTP, passwords. And believe it or not, the issue with the field force today is their addiction to online gambling. Right? So our loan officers today are actually getting caught into that web where they are frauding money and then essentially trying to use that money to gamble so that they believe they can keep the difference and then pay back what they've taken. So this is the other side of technology, right? So while we keep all this in focus, I'll start with my colleague on the left, requesting him to talk to us for a minute or two about what they do and what their views are on the subject that I've just spoken about, the opportunities and the challenges of moving a manual process into a digital mode.
Thank you, Manoj. In fact, I am not a practitioner, it's a network. And we normally, as network, we always try to create an enabling environment for promotion of the technology. We organize seminars, meetings, conferences, bring the experts and the mobile financial service providers, telcos together, so that our members, microfinance institutions, can adopt the technology and promote the technology. But you are right, everybody wants the adoption of the technology. We also want the technology should be adopted by the microfinance institutions. One speaker during the opening session, inaugural session, said, without microfinance institution, you cannot think of the national development. And in Bangladesh, the microfinance and the NGOs are the forerunner in technology. They're doing a lot of good things. Now we are trying for the digital transformation to take benefit of the digitization. Yeah, in my presentation, I said, what are the benefits we are getting? It's a cutting, manpower use. Is cutting the expenditures, cutting the, cutting the time, the blah, blah, And there are also some risks. Initially, the investment, high investment for the infrastructural development. But as the days go by, the expenditure normally comes down. So therefore, as network, we always encourage our members to adopt that technology. And for the troubleshooting, we also organize some meetings at conferences, and we organize one-to-one basis meeting.
Great, thank you, sir, thank you, very useful. Rajesh, can you tell us about your unique organization, what you're trying to do, and how you believe technology can play the role of a game changer?
Thank you, Manoj. Branchix works with around 400 million odd migrants that leave their hometowns for want of a better, economical outcome. So when you really look at the numbers, across India, around 455 million people leave from their home, villages, towns across, and for better pastures. This has been happening in a smaller spectrum throughout this country's beginning and throughout how it even also began. But what has also happened is that as education has basically bring us to a next stage where we have two kinds of larger migrations happening. The first is the white-collar migration, which allowed us to be here with this technology that we are enjoying. Educated youngsters from better colleges and institutions ending up in Pune, Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, and earning us equal as say $400,000, up to $400,000 of earnings a year. The better versions. And then there is also not so better versions who are to really leave it for, life events, flood, famine, or probably somebody's wedding that happened, an emergency, and they go to the cities and they try to live into this hard concrete jungle. Though they have a home back there, some land there, and they still have to go. And when you really look at their financial, value chain, what they do is they earn in cash, and all across them they see that cash is getting dead, and there's less cash out there. But he's got cash, and he's all of a sudden forced to keep the cash in his pocket, and he's not been able to do any kind of modern forms of savings or retention. So what he does is, by the support of the government of India, there are certain remittance rails, where you can put the money into the system and money can be remitted into an account without much questions. But the problem with this angle is that this money is still taken out as cash, so cash in and cash out. Nothing is retained within the banking system, which is not allowing this new group of people. We call them the new middle class, Bharat Plus. This new middle class earns as much as an urban poor or more. They have a lot of capacity to build. They have a family getting educated back home. But the kind of financial inclusion that they're really getting out of this extra earning, almost limited. So we came with a small program called Raja Rani card, where 2 cards connected to a single wallet. So the cards will be used as some kind of a pride and physical device, whereas a language speaking genie, an AI device, which literally speaks, it even speaks in Bangla, it speaks 6 languages, and try to train the user, because he's underbanked or she's underbanked. So train them to slowly and steadily get into banking. So this is what we do, and we have 3 small offices. We are in Noida, we are in Navi Mumbai, and we are in Bangalore.
Great, thank you, Rajesh, very interesting. Haq Saab, tell us how is Bangladesh, especially practitioners and especially ASA, looking at technology, and what do you see as the opportunities and challenges in automation?
Thank you. Before answering your question, I have one information I'd like to share with you, that during the previous session, Tamalda was said that one of the big bank, that they are going to downsize their microfinance loan because non-collateral loan is a high risk. So that's why I remember one history. It was 2002. I was the chairperson of the CDF. That time, first sign-off was done with nationalized commercial bank. It is Sonali Bank. It is biggest one. Then I sign off on behalf of 600 NGO, 3 crore money. Then after complete my sign, then managing director of the Sonali Bank, he asked me, "You don't feel any risk?" I said, "No." Then why? I don't feel any risk because poor people, they don't like to sit anybody. So I am confident money will come, money will back. That's why I sign on. But until, that now a sector, almost 45% of our capital we receive from the bank. Until there is no biggest challenges. Okay, the question of these challenges, that there is a very recently, in Bangladesh, near our financial sector, near about 28 of bank, they decided to take this digitalization. And they invested near about double money from their existing. And by this time, 50% of the bank already completed their digitalization. And the result is 5 times higher than investment. That is good result. Secondly, if you think to digitalization, there is a 5 major strategic decision you need to take. Number one is strategy transformation. It is number 1. Number 2, operational knee alignment. Number 3, adaptation of the new agile practice. Number 4, that is flexible technology that will be user friendly. Number 5, people management. People management, I mean, you have all are not technically very sound. You have a intermediate class level, degree class level loan officer, and your client more or less 50 to 60% is illiterate. So that's why to manage the people, there is a big challenges. But so I think there is a lot of possibility, by this time, we have research because out of 13 entities, we started from Ghana and Pakistan. We studied that how many people have. We have a doubt that people, they don't know about how to operate this smartphone. Then we say that in urban to rural areas, the family have 30% to 50% is smartphone. But knowledge, our client have more or less 10 to 20% of our client have knowledge how to operate. But interestingly, if you consider as a family, this borrower husband, their son, their daughter, they can say 100% of our family members, they have knowledge how to operate this smartphone. So this is not a big issue. Second study, we have seen that big challenges, cost is involved. I'll give you an example. In Kenya and Tanzania, we have mobile banking. Total cost is per 1,000 delivery. It takes 30 rupees. That means 3% of lending, 3% of transaction cost goes to this client. So client point of view, if they want to buy a one smartphone, if they want to keep internet services, and if they want to pay 3% cost for that, this is big burden for them. That is also very risk considering to recover the cost. Number three, so that's why I think there is some challenges I'd like to say. In general, most of the top management, they love to introduce this digitalization, but sometimes they have a hesitation. Number two, the biggest challenge is financial sector is moving from legacy system to unskilled worker system. That is number two. Number three, huge investment are required. And shift from legacy to new technology infrastructure, develop digital expertise. Number three, financial institutes are subject to high security risks due to personal data and transaction record, and which make it harder to execute challenges while management meeting compliance requirement. Number four, changes in the workforce and workplace culture and significant as the talent market model mandates unskilled employees, which is expensive and require time. Then digital transformation is sometimes that does not just happen overnight. Its benefits are tangible over a year of painstaking effort. So I think there is a last one is very important. You see, data-driven decision making. Data-driven decision making against personal contact and physical presence may be big challenges. What I'm telling today morning, that presence and then you see this to own this total. I am driving to poor people. I am serving the poor people. There's a commitment from the heart. It will not build up only for technology. If you call that, hello, I am talking to this bank photo and enable my credit card. Okay, you can put number one. Then if you want to English, you can put 2. If you want to listen from Bengali, you can point to 3. This is not the scientific way to whole things should be changed overnight without any human touch. That's why my last appeal should be, whatever you have think to technology, please don't forget to human touch. Don't forget to focus that we are going to service, extend our services the bottom of the pyramid. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhaksab. Very, very detailed on both the opportunities and the challenges. Neeraj, why don't you tell us about your business and what opportunities and challenges you see in the digital space?
Sure, sir. So I'll just give you a little background about what we are doing. So we are a digital health solutions company. Okay, so we started we launched our operations in December 2020, and then the COVID welcomed us. So that was actually a learning for us when we started our operation. So we, fortunately, unfortunately, none of the team members we never met, right? So today if you're talking about, we are a team of around 1,500 people across the country. And frankly, I have not not even 14, 50 of them. Maybe I'm just working, I've met 50. So how our solutions are working is that we have used the technology in a very appropriate manner. Is a digital health. Today, if you look at the India's existing healthcare, system, you have a sub-health care centers, you have a district hospitals, and you have a PHCs, primary healthcare and district hospital. This is the, network you have across the country. But at sub-health centers, there are no doctors available, which are about 1,50,000 for about 7 lakh villages. So what we are trying to do, we are building a public health center, primary healthcare centers at the panchayat level. So far, we are able to build about 1,500 healthcare centers in India. In this, we are seeing about 10,000 walk-ins every day. We are treating about 10,000 patients every day. We are treating about 3 lakh patients every month. So we are talking about, they're the volumes. And why we are able to do that? One thing which I agree with Mr. Huck is, in our customer segment which we are catering, you can't have a pure tech solution. It has to be high tech, high touch, which is getting very popular. The human touch is important. So how we brought the human touch, initially, very frankly, COVID, when the COVID happened, we thought, oh, everything is going to work digitally now. Okay, we may not need human, we don't, we're just going to talk everything over the phone, but then we realized the reality, no, the human touch will be required. And that's how through our e-clinic today, our e-clinic, we have hired paramedics who are servicing, they are assisting the patient, the doctor are accessible through technology, but end of the day, there is a nurse sitting there, day to day monitoring their health, consulting them, and that's what we have built, And there's another interesting point, which is with the partnerships we are able to build with the AMFI, banking, and multiple partnerships, we are also utilizing. So other side of the technology will be how we are smoothly integrating with the partner, right? I don't need a paper. Today, we operate 1,500 e-clinics, 0 paper. We do not have absolutely no paper for consultation, no person for, we maintain electronic health record. We have already generated about 20 lakhs health record from various customers and their families. And that's again, and here the MFI partners supported us. We have done the API integration or SSK integration. We're able to transfer the data, smoothly and able to maintain all. Everything is a tablet, but end of the day, the touch is required. We still emphasize on that. You need people on the ground. You need the kind of customer we get, we need people on the ground. So that's it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Neeraj. Very, very nicely explained. Reema, tell us, what is this Arohan privilege that we keep hearing about?
Thank you, and thank you everybody for being here. So Arohan Privilege is a new channel for customers, microfinance customers, to get loans. And what is so new about this channel? It is digital lending. And we hear about digital lending so many times in various forums, various places. We were talking about human touch and how important that is, right? But what we are trying to do at Arohan is that end to end, the customer is empowered to apply for a loan, get a loan within 10 minutes of loan application, but she has to repay digitally. So the entire process is seamless, it is digital, touchless. But when we come back to human touch, if a customer gets stuck during the application process, we will call her and help her through the whole journey. Now our experience, so this was, where did this come from, right? Because we talk about digital and of course it comes with its own set of challenges. It's not easy, right? Painstaking, I think is the word that Mr. Huck used, right? But so I was meeting a customer who used to be with us at some point in time, and then she did not repeat her loan with us. So I asked her, ki Didi, she was in Kolkata, so Didi keno, amader kache theke keno nanni, and she took it from another organization. So, whom I'm not naming, but okay. So she said, Prothome, initially she's like, na lageni. She was not willing to open up. But then she said, no, this other organization, they came, all the disbursement documents they took from my home. They they disbursed it, whichever way they do. I didn't even have to go to the branch. So for disbursement, the service was provided at home. For collection also, they will come and collect from home only, right? Because customer behavior has changed. Like it or not, we've seen that, right? We spoke earlier about 45% center attendance, right? 50% center attendance. आना ही नहीं है उनको. আসবে না, আসতে চান না। And honestly, all of us, we have smartphones and we have telephones, right? How many of us, I don't know, but how many of us actually go and pay our bills, our monthly bills at an Airtel or a Vodafone or an Idea? Sorry, Idea is not there anymore, but you get the idea, right? So we don't do that because that Shubidha is there, that facility is there, and that's where the whole thought of digital lending to microfinance customers came about, right? It's challenging, right? But why? It's necessary because customer behavior has changed. Our staff behavior has also changed. Like we've seen attrition at very, very like historic highs within the microfinance sector, across, all through, right? But how do we make life easier for both the customer as well as, of course, for our own people? So when we initially launched it, I'll give you a brief about the journey that we've had so far. It's been 6 months since we launched. We've had about 2,500 customers as of end of December. Only one person has not paid as of end of December because this person was a victim of cyber fraud. Thank you, sir. Right? So that is my part zero, as we call it. You all will know what that is, right? How do we plan to take it forward? It's challenging again. Why? Because as soon as the Didi finds out about about digital lending, the first person she is going to call is the person she trusts the most, is the loan officer. And if the loan officer ka kya bolte hain, niyat kharab hai, or if they want to do fraud, we spoke about online gambling first, then our customer segment is especially vulnerable. So they can cheat the customer, even though at the back end, of course, we have our own safeguards to make sure that that does not happen. But so far, that happened for only one customer out of 2,500 customers. We are confident that this cannot never overtake our traditional line function. It can't. But it is an additional channel. It is something that customers need and they are asking for. And of course, the future is free for us.
Thank you, Rima. That almost sounded like a commercial for our Arohan privilege. Before I move ahead, let us see whether the audience is still awake. So I think we've heard a lot about manual evolving into digital, paperless, cashless. So let me ask a question to people who are awake. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think is the probability that in the next 3 to 5 years, we would move from a manual to a partially digital manual stage today to completely digital? And maybe people who think the chances are more than 5 can probably raise their hands first. Not many believing that it will move to a completely digital. So do I assume the remaining are all less than 5? Okay. Let me tell you that from 10,000 crores in 2012 to reach 3 lakh crores in the JLG sector took us about 10 years, right? I do not think, given the under-penetration which is there today, the next growth phase of the next 10 years is going to be of the same number. We are up against a revolution on technology, digital data, which will essentially ensure what I briefly mentioned in the morning on Uberization of credit. Where that money comes from, you're not bothered, right? The customer just needs credit. And as long as she pays and there is a credit discipline built in through the bureau, right, you will ensure that people who take money are serious enough in terms of paying back. That will bring the operating cost down. Technology will bring operating cost down. Frankly, as a banker, right, I used to think that customers love going to branches. They used to earlier, right? Meeting a branch manager would be more of a social event. Talking about their family, talking about their income, talking about their sons and daughters, their marriage and all of that. But today, how many of us go to the bank? None of us. We don't want. In fact, we hate to go to the bank because we know we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait for attention. We'll have to wait for the service to be given, right? So the same thing is going to happen to our segment. If we do not see the writing on the wall, we will just miss it. The revolution will just happen and we will stand there and wonder what happened, right? So let me pause there and maybe open it up to the panel. Anybody who wants to talk about a case study where you think you have used technology, like Rima mentioned, and I'll probably ask her to again come in. Rajesh, maybe you want to go next in terms of the segment that you saw, the niche that you saw, the opportunity that you saw, and a case study in terms of where you started and to what extent have you proven the concept?
So, a little wavering here. Cash is king, but all kings die, you know. So, the cash is dying across the world, you know, not just in India. You look at a large country like Brazil, cash has died. And the large events always pressurize environments, and large event that has pressurized the whole world, that literally driven this digital inclusion was, for all of us, was COVID. You know, what we went through and we survived was digital. The way we could eat, the way we could survive, the way we could even send money to our friends, our mates, or even we got money was via digital. So this penetration is not going to go away. This penetration is going to stay in. And this is where India stack is very, very relevant. It's not that the trinity of India stack is what we are seeing. We are seeing the whole payment rail. You know, we talking about, I was talking about the white collar again. As a white collar, we had the advantage of using, you know, some form of banking semi-digital. You know, we had not even an app, but we had a web login. We were using it. But today we have a fast stack that is forcing a semi-banked SME person to use a digital window, whether he likes it or not. He has got this, the ONDC coming in. ONDC is coming in, which basically brings in the hyperlocal which the urbans faced. He is going to come to the last mile in smaller villages. And then on top of it, you have an OKIN that is coming in. That will create a better, you know, credit rating service and hence credit possibility for a last mile person. And this is real. And this reality is what is going to drive the digital adoption for the country. And it's just, again, it's not an isolated case. Again, you know, if you go back to Ghana, you know, countries in Latin America, there's a huge adoption happening in Latin America on digital. And when you really put a parallel here, we have two worlds, right? You know, we have the India and we have the Bharat kind of a thing. And MFI, very large level, we cater to the Bharat here. And the Bharat is like how the China was there. You know, China has something. I have friends who say that they've not touched cash for 2 years in WeChat in China. And then, you know, I've realized that, you know, over the last 4 months, I've been living in Kerala, and during COVID, I got stuck and I stayed there. I enjoyed my living. And then I had to come back. I was forced to come back. My parents threw me out. I had to come back to Bangalore. And when I came back to Bangalore, last 4 months, I have not taken a single rupee from the ATM. I'm living with my bank app and, you know, a wallet app called Paytm. This is a reality, and while I was just traveling, I was just wondering, should I take some money out? And I still travel to Kolkata. Without it, I'm going to Noida. I'm not going to take any money out. This is real for me, and if it's real for the office has the whole employee sets that we talk to, this is real. So every day, if this is going to be real, your extended colleagues, your family, your country cousin are going to really adopt it. And for BranchX, we are seeing this every single day. We see people we say that the average revenue per user in a mobile industry, telecom industry, for an urban poor versus a migrant is around 3 times more. They actually make more money out of a migrant, 3 times more. And what they do, they use this to consume quick video content, video calls, and probably also calls. Yeah. Right. So once you start using your digital twin for every single thing, there is a high chance that you're going to quickly adopt this for your other utilities, which means BBPS is real, because we see hundreds of our customers, not 1 or 2, hundreds of our customers come and ask for BBPS service. We see travel. Again, we do booking travel online, but these people come and ask us about travel to be done with assisted modeling. And I'm sure that now they want assisted modeling where I help them to train them about travel booking. They don't want to go to the railway station and stand, which I did when I was a college student, which nobody does. My customer does it via an assisted model, but he's very clear that 3 times later, he's going to directly use it within the app. So if somebody is going to think that, you know, we're going to be 5 years later, paper is going to be there. Currency is 2% of the GDP of India. That's a huge cost for a government to bear. It's going to disappear. And this kind of a reality is what we are seeing. So as a use case, if that's what I asked, every day we are seeing it.
Right. No, Rajesh is so convincing that I literally bought his Raja Rani card. Right. So I'll probably use it and see whether it works. So Neeraj, you want to talk about a case study in your market space, the opportunity that you saw and how you've used it and some success in terms of conversion or proof of concept?
Yes, sir. So I just want to emphasize on a couple of things which really helped. And one of the things was the technology really helped us in reducing the cost. How did it help us? I tell you, before the COVID, we thought, we'll be having huge building, okay, to accommodate, let's say if you have to, today we are serving, just to give, we have acquired roughly 56 lakh customer as on today in last 3 years, obviously through technology, but I'll rather emphasize how we sustain those operations. We were able to sustain those operations. Initially we thought we were going to have such a large building, somewhere in Bangalore or Gurgaon, probably paying somebody 6.5 crore rent, and then you're calling everyone, paying them higher salary in Gurgaon, in Delhi or Bangalore, which we didn't have to do. We actually, and how we are able to do today is because the doctors are in the tier 3, 4, 5, 6. The nurses are in those areas. The pharmacists are in those areas. Only I told you, other than the nurses who are operating in the e-clinic, rest everyone, 90% of the people are working from home. This reduces our infrastructure cost, one. Second, we save a lot on the high-paying salaries. So total savings, if we analyze, we're saving almost 10 to 12 crore per annum, which is a bigger for the institution like us. We are purely a service-oriented company. And and how does it happen? When the product we planned initially, like today we are priced about, let's say, 1 rupee per day model. 365 we charge for the teleconsultation for the entire family with basic medicines and all those things. Initially we thought it should come out 600, 700. So how we are able to pass that cost to the customer and their family. So they are saving a lot of money and we are also saving and we are passing. So it's a win-win for both of us. So that I would say is a case study in brief which I can share with you.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you, Neeraj. To Reema, coming back to you again, I am told that 1% is what you're looking at from a base of the customer that you want to convert to digital. When do you see that going to a level where it becomes relevant? And is there a necessity for the normal business operations people to fear that one day it will become a completely digital company?
Very thoughtful questions. So firstly, I'll answer the second question
By the way,
first.
both Jayant or Minod are here.
I met them, yes. So they had business. For those of you who don't know Jayant and Vinod, they had business at Arohan. So coming to the second question first, no, there is no, I was trying to kind of come to it during my last moment. So why digital lending, right? Contactless, at least physical contactless, faceless if you will, right? It's because, honestly, it's what the customer wants today, right? All customers? No, definitely not. Some customers, definitely yes, right? Though if customers want it, why will we not give it to them, right? But then if customers want it, today our microfinance customers, like we have 6.1 crore microfinance borrowers in India. Are they all ready to move to a digital forum? They might have access to smartphones, and most of them do. Somebody in the family will have it. Even if she doesn't, she may or may not be comfortable using it. She might even be scared of it. But if her husband does it, she'll be okay. If her son or daughter do it, she'll be fine, right? Which is okay. So is it ever going to replace? Definitely not in the next 3 to 5 years, no. Our customer segment needs people. We've spoken enough throughout the day about how it is important to go and meet customers at center meetings. Tell them how do we disburse loans. These are the rules that you need to adhere to in order to get a microfinance loan, right? But then for those customers who are experienced, who know, Acha, this is how microfinance works, who are 7, 8, multiple cycles into microfinance, right? Why can we not give them a differentiated experience? It's what they need. It's what they're demanding, in fact, right now. And we've seen in our experience over the last 6 to 7 months, we had a growth plan, right? This month, itna karenge, and this is what. We've exceeded that by far because customers want it. And we are happy to be able to give it to them. right? I hope that answers your question. Right?
I heard somewhere that you threatened to make geography history. Can you just explain what that means?
Yes, yes, definitely. We've not threatened, but our vision is to make geography history. What does that mean? It means that Arohan, we are headquartered in Kolkata. We are currently located in 14 states across India. But our vision is that within the next 2 to 3 years, anybody from any state in India will be able to apply for a loan from Arohan's microfinance portfolio and repay it digitally on time. That's our vision, and we are definitely very well on the way. So hence, geography is history. Yes, that's definitely the plan over here.
What a statement, what a statement. So we'll open it up to the audience for questions. I know we have provoked all of you enough. And I can already see 2-3 hands going up, so maybe.
One hand from here.
Yes. Who's going first? This is also a check to see if people are awake. Tea follows after this, so you hold us up, tea also gets delayed. Yes. There is a question? Thank you.
Yeah, this question is for Rima. You said your target is 1%, but actually, are you talking about 100% digitalization or are you talking in phases? There is a customer who has taken a loan, physical mode, they have come and taken. For the next loan, she need not come to the branch. So obviously you're going to give her OTP based signing, Aadhaar based. India is talking about India Shack, where everything is available. You can create a balance sheet out of a customer through the various platforms. So when you give a second loan, obviously you need not go through the whole process. It's a very simple way of giving loan. So that itself is digitalization. Like Government of India has a scheme that you will consider a person literate if she can sign it. That does not necessarily mean that she is literate. So similarly, can we not go into in phases that in the first phase she might have taken physical loan. In the second phase, I graduate her into a digital mode. Maybe in the third phase, the collection comes. A 50% digitalization, a 70% digitalization, then 100%. So are you not going into those kind of model, or do you plan to make it no absolutely 100%?
So our vision and where we aim to go is that every microfinance customer who has a credit bureau record, who has credit history, who's displayed responsible credit behavior in the past, is eligible to get these loans. So how will we do it? So right now when we're doing it, yes, for those set of customers, 1% of our customers, eventually 33%, hopefully in the next 3 to 5 years, the entire journey is digital. Yes, but they are used to the concept of microfinance. These are good microfinance customers to whom, for whatever reason, we are unable to disburse through our regular line and function, right? Maybe because that PIN code has radar mapped, is flagged on radar. We spoke about radar earlier, right? Maybe it's, that center is, not repaying on time. So 1 or 2 good customers within that center, we are not catering to. There could be multiple reasons. But for those customers who are eligible, we will definitely make the whole journey, seamlessly digital for them. They will get the cash in their bank accounts within 10 minutes. And they will have to repay online as well. We will not collect cash from them. So we are respecting you. You don't have to come to the center meeting. You don't have to form a group even. These are individual loans. But you respect us by repaying us on time. It is a mutually beneficial relationship. And we've seen customers are they're happy with this arrangement. They don't want to come to center meetings today.
Yeah. The question from there.
Hello. My question is to Mr. Emmanuel. Myself, Narendra Naik, I'm CEO, working as CEO for SAPI in Odisha, like this association. You were pointing out, sir, 5 key points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last point seems to be the most important one, people management. If done well, then that will convert the huge necessity into the demand. Can you please explain, or this is also to others, those who are already involved promoting digital transactions. Can you please tell us how best we could do this people management part within the staff, within the organization, as well as the huge number of clients? Thank you.
2, 3 ways. You need to train this, your client, your loan officer, branch manager, area manager, even the head office. So you need a huge, massive training, number 1. Number 2, for this training, your cost is involved. Good amount of cost you need to allocate. Then who will be trained? The company which one developed this software or apps, this person will become. One, honestly, I'd like to say that once you contact any IT company, initially they'll show you that the cost is lump sum like that. Once you enter this, then you will say one after another, cost how much. You have preliminary, you budget 1 million. After the end of your journey, it will say budget will be go almost 2 to 3 million. Because different types of training, different types of renovation, different types of reformation due to the demand of the market. So that's why cost is involved and massive training is needed, and that's why primarily you should be start by 10 branches as a piloting. You can develop your 10 branches. Once 10 members will be scaled, then you can call another 10 branches, they come to here, they will stay 2-3 days, they should know each one teach one, or practically they should know learning by doing. This, there's a 20. Then next time you can call 40 branches, another 20 branches for 20 old branches. This way, if you go to this step by step, then it is possible. If you want to, at a time, 100% of your branch, you will fail undoubtedly. So that's why it will better to step by step. One thing I'd like to give an example, even the which market you are working, this is also very important. In Africa, if you want to, these types of transaction within your own apps, maybe there is no cost. But if any client want to pay another device or another, they need to pay at least 3%. And one of the country recently government imposed e-transaction 1.5% levy. So 3% cost for this transaction, 1.5% for this government e-levy, 4.5%. We charging this client 60%. How much they will pay? So that's why in Asha Bangladesh, we are using tab with internet connection. Then once we collect any amount, immediately message goes to our client that you paid this amount. Now we have a feasibility study is going on, the cost and benefit analysis. Because we are charging 24%. 2% you consider as a loan loss. Another is 22%. Cost of money, cost of money, capital, you can consider 12%. Or your management cost is 7 or 8%. So even if you add another 2%, who will bond this one? Because government imposed, you are not authorized to take more than 24%. So that's why cost is high concern. How to manage this cost? Then some of the smart way we have managing in one entity is 50-50. Out of 3%, 50% will be client, 50% will be our, this way. So I think this training is essential. Let's start with the small way, then piloting, then call another new branch, they should train up, then again go this way. You can think about, that's why you need a strategic development plan, how you plan to move forward. Thank you.
I think probably one point from my side which might help is typically people resist things when they see a fear that will impact them adversely. I lose my job, I lose my control, I lose the overall overall control that I have on the operations. Right? If the use case essentially is to make the process more efficient, where the person's performance can actually be better and the person's job is not at stake, you will find that the adoption would be much higher.
right? So I think training is a very right point, but within training, if this aspect is not handled, you will always have that resistance. At least that's been my experience over the last 30 years. Yeah, one more last question before we take closing. Yes, sir.
I have a question with Mr. Neeraj. Yeah. So I'm Swati, I'm from Masa, India. I just need to know a few things. First is how effective it is e-clinics. When we talk about, so how effective it is e-clinics. Because firstly, when we are talking about the rural pockets, the patients are, the women patients, if we are talking specifically, they won't easily divulge their disease or something like that, firstly. My second question is that how would they, how do you document their case history? Suppose for further treatment, if they want to go ahead, so how would they get their documents and the case history for their treatment?
Right. Thanks for asking this question. So maybe I could not boast about my business, so I can boast now. Okay. So two aspects. So one, you ask how the women are comfortable in walking the clinic. So very interestingly, 70% of our patients are women. Okay. And another interesting fact, I give you background. When we were building the operations, we did not know this stats would come in. So now today 70% of our team members are also women, including doctors. All the nurses are women, okay, on the ground, right? Thank you. And when they walk in, there is a female who is checking them. There is a privacy that we try to maintain. Today, now another background I'll give you as far as how they maintain the electronic. Today, health is all about data, right? So you need to maintain the patient history. We maintain an electronic health record for every patient and their family history. So today, anybody calling after 5 years, after 10 years, they call us for the routine checkup, for the follow-up. The entire case history is maintained with us, and we can remind them what are the history and everything. So it's part of the electronic health record. That's why I was highlighting, we maintain more than 20 lakhs health records already. We generate about 10,000 health records every day. So we're talking about 3 to 4 lakhs health records every month. Have I answered? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Neeraj, as you can see, we give all sponsors a chance to boast, right? And completely detail out their products and services. Next question, sir.
Hello, I am Utpal Bosch from Janakallan. My question is to Madam, to you, about your last answer, what you given to the question, that whether you told me that you have given the application to total disbursement and installment, everything in through the net. So whether we have lost our microfinance entity, this is the microfinance? Or we are going to bank.
Right.
Bank is doing the same thing. We lost our that essence of microfinance or not.
Gee, thank you for that question. And I appreciate where it's coming from. Microfinance, the core of microfinance is the JLG, is the center. It's the touch where we go and meet Didis and we talk to them, they talk to us. It is a group. Joint liability kyun hai? Why is it there? It's because people actually used to take liability for each other. That's how it works, right? But post-COVID, we've seen different behavior, right? Today, RBI defines microfinance as giving finance to a household which has income less than 3 lakh rupees per annum. That is the regulator's definition of microfinance, very broadly. Of course, there are other things as well, right? So we are giving loans, individual loans. Yes, there is no center or group over here, to people who are used to microfinance. The core, Alok ji earlier mentioned that today we have, 3 lakh crore portfolio and how that's expected to grow 3 to 4 times over the next 3 to 4 years actually, right? Tremendous growth potential over the next few years. And how is that going to come? That is going to come from including more people into the microfinance family, people who have not had access to formal credit from trusted institutions in the past. So those customers have to be handheld, they have to be taught, they have to be inducted into the group lending model, the center model. So that touch is very much necessary for the growth path which we have. This is an alternative channel for those who are used to microfinance, right? I hope that answers your question, right? Thank you, sir.
Any more questions? Yes, sir. Oh, I can say we've activated and provoked the audience.
Ma'am, my question is, as we are seeing that RBI is implementing the digital currency, so in that context, how you see the way forward this sector is going to adopt this, and how this will going to benefit the sector?
I'll ask Rajesh to take that.
Yeah, on a very high level, around 2017, when the blockchain as a retail model has been getting developed all around the world, multi forms of funding, institutional investment via equity, tokenization, a lot of stories were coming into play. China somehow took a leadership and came with their own retail CBDC. CBDC is a currency model that can really disrupt within the banking. Mainstream universal banking can be disrupted in some form. And but the advantage is that the retail CBDC that we are testing right now is in the right spirit of how the digital twinning of your money is not virtual anymore. This is really in your wallet. It's not a virtual money that's out there. So in digital lending, as he was asking, human touch is going to remain where where the beneficiary is going to be out there. There is going to be human touch. But for all the painful processes like filling in the blanks, filling in the form, redoing it every now and then, these kind of processes can be completely alleviated the moment you get into digital lending, and the moment again passing on the benefit, retail CBDC or CBDC for that matter, is going to come into play, and that would help everybody in the system to remove the friction. So I mean, on a high level, anything deeper would be very technology, and even I am not an expert to answer that.
Last question. You had somebody who up the hand? Yeah, yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Abhishek Mukherjee. I am from Janakalyan Financial Services Private Limited. Ma'am, my question is to you. Like, it seems it's a very lucrative, like the way you are talking about fully digital lending. The way you are saying it, it seems 100% secure. Like you are providing credit to them, like who have a credit history. They are having a good credit history. That is why you are providing loan to them. And it seems like, if I am understanding it right, like maybe you are checking their credit history. Maybe they are not your old customer. They have taken some kind of loan in past. Okay, then what are the challenges you think that there are certain challenges to implement it 100% digital lending? What are the challenges you feel there is in the market, and what are the solutions for them you are thinking about? Thank you.
Thank you for that question, Abhishek. So, in terms of challenges, and at first like to address, it's not easy. Maybe I made it sound that way. That was not my intention. It's not easy. I use the word painstaking as well. I borrowed it from Mr. Haq. It is difficult. It's not easy, right? Because we want to do responsible lending. We do not want to lend to somebody who does not have the ability to repay. That is the basic, I think, which all of us in this room, we share. That is the basic ethos that all of us, I think, follow, right? And not only for our sake, for the customer's sake as well, right? Customers are trusting, they are trustworthy, and we want to help them. We talked about impact and overall creating sustainable good, right? But this is to enable that. This is just another channel. In terms of challenges, I think the main challenge over here is customer digital literacy. Right? They do have a smartphone, and they do have somebody, they are okay using it as well. Somebody will use it. But in terms of safety, right? We tell our customers, आपका phone आपका bank है, किसी को मत दीजिए, right? Call आएगा, वो OTP दे देंगे. We also do it, right? So recently one of my friends' father lost 3 lakh rupees. And they're like based in Delhi, urban, middle class people, and our customer segment are even more, they need to be protected. So we are trying to educate them, but again, if somebody calls them, they know the loan officer, right? Or if anybody calls them pretending to be a loan officer, right? हाँ ले लीजिए OTP, ले लीजिए मेरा phone. So that is the main challenge which I think is there. In terms of adoption, it's definitely something that customers want. So that is not a challenge. But we have to be careful who we lend to, and more importantly, we have to educate the customers from a digital and financial protection standpoint. Right? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll just have a minute each from each of the panelists on 2-3 sentences on what they would like to leave behind for the audience as takeaways.
Thank you, Manoj. One thing, I have just one...
Three sentences.
Quick comment, you know.
Yes.
I can tell you a story in Bangladesh. You know, on the street there are beggars. And they normally deposit their money with Imam, the religious leader of the mosque. And the Imam keeps the money in the box by name. And at the end of the month, the beggars remit the money or take their money and go to their house. But now, over the last 5 years, there is no box. The beggars, they have the mobiles and they remit their money digitally, very quick. So at the moment, there are no boxes at the mosque, you know. That this is the best example that the digitization has been progressing very fast in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Reema, any last 2-3 sentence takeaways before we go to Neeraj, Haq Saab and Rajesh?
Just 3 words from my side. Change is good. So I'll end there. That's it.
It's okay to change, right?
Good to change.
Yeah, so sorry. So I'll say technology is not an alternative, it's a necessity. Yeah.
Okay. So just one information I'd like to share with you that 6 AMFI in Bangladesh very aggressively started for this journey. Out of these 6, by this time 1, it is Boro Bangladesh already started. So we'll get little experience from them, number 2. Number 2 is that, you know, where the market, it is very important. You have a good advantage because your infrastructure in the India and technical person, overall average education and knowledge and technology facilities, Sara world is leading by India, you know. In America, most of the IT big company, Tata, Cognizant, wherever you see, basically owner is American, but you see behind this scene, everyone is Indian. So you have an advantage. You have a good number of technical people. Your infrastructure is better. As I have given an example, why market is very important. If you have any experience to visit in Dubai, if you drop in the airport, Dubai airport, then enter this car, there is no paper. They have a tab. There is no cash transaction. There is a credit card. Enter your hotel, there is no papers. That is realized. If you want to Indian restaurant to take some food, vegetarian or non-vegetarian, the person come to us with one tab there, sir, what you want, please order. This is the price. You can see, you order from here, automatically goes to the kitchen. Then food come to you. So you see they from Dubai Mall, taxi, restaurant, hotel, there is no work, there is no single paper of this work in the Dubai. But if you see the Nigeria, near about 20 hours, out of 24 hours, 20 hours there is no electricity, it is running by generator. In a bigger city, in Accra, you see, 10 to 12 hours, there is no internet connectivity. So that is the challenges. So market is a very important. Firstly, as like a motivator, I'd like to say that time is money. If it is realized, save people money, 6 crore people, if every people save 1 hour per week, 6 crore hour, so time is money. If that is realized, help to save their money, time is money. And world is changing. Why India will be behind of this? We want to cop this one. That is my final comment.
Rajesh, from Dubai to Kerala and money to digital money.
Yeah, the whole branching started that way because we thought how the bad money, the Hawalidar money disappeared into proper structured form of remittance houses based cross-border remittance happening, and we want to replicate that in India. That is how the actual story of Branches started. Thank you for triggering that, Mr. Enamul. On 2-3 key takeaways from my end is that one is a macro and second is for MFI. Macro is that like the white collar boys and girls win the last 10-20 years of game coming to the cities in technology, the manufacturing advantage that we are currently building with the kind of 14 sectors the government of India has been unlocked to have better investments in, and this is going to create a huge number of blue collar migration. Currently the blue collar is around 19 crore out there, 45 crores of which 19 crore are migrants. These migrants are going to double, and when that happens, the kind of money that is going to come into the villages are going to really increase. And this money is also going to be already layered with their urban knowledge about digital, which means the penetration of digital lending is going to happen in the Bharat, in the backlands are going to be much higher, which will increase the role of MFIs to see themselves coming to that MFI play. Is that MFIs has been the original fintech poster boys of India, if you really look at it, went through its own sets of challenges and come out as the poster boys. But it came with an NGO background and it's for profit. But two points that I'm seeing is that it's going to be digital. And in the digital itself, we're going to see it as not just a vertical fin, it is going to be more embedded finance play. There may be more things that we're going to consume via an MFI. And that's what the future is going to be. And that's what I think hundreds of new MFIs are going to form also. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. What a thought to end this panel. How can I end without thanking AMFI, the chairperson, the very energetic CEO that we have who keeps pushing all of us year on year for having these sessions. Thank you, all of you. You've been a wonderful audience, and I'm happy I could provoke you and activate you into asking the highest questions in any panel today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, panelists, for the interactive, insightful, and enriching session. I would request the dignitaries to remain seated. I would request Mr. Bishwajit Das, MD of We Grow, to come and felicitate the token of appreciation to Ms. Reema Mukherjee. I would request sir to give the token of appreciation to Neeraj Maheshwari, Mr. Neeraj Maheshwari. Request sir to give a token of appreciation to Mr. Rajesh Johnny. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, we would like to have a photo session now.